Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is the genxauntie. Before I jump into the next auntie archetype, I would like to thank my new subscribers. I got a bunch of new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me on this channel. I hope you find some great information on conscious aging and check out some of the other videos if you haven't done so far. So today we're going to talk about Aphrodite auntie, the auntie of love and beauty. This auntie always looks fly. Her hair is always did. Her nails are always done. The outfit is always on fleek. She has designer shoes and bags. Never looks raggedy out in public, or probably not even in her own home. Her home is carefully curated and beautiful, and her car is an extension of herself. She might drive a Lexus or BMW or Mercedes or an Audi, something fabulous that she would love pulling up to the curb and have everyone look at her as she steps out. Now, the Aphrodite aunties likes all things that appeal to the senses, like good food, good smelling perfume, clothes that feel good on her skin, things that look beautiful. Basically, she likes to have very sensuous experiences. So let's talk about men. The Aphrodite aunties love having men around and love having lots of lovers, and she loves making love. When the Aphrodite auntie is your major archetype, you fall in love easily and often because you have the it factor. Men are very drawn to you and very attracted to you like a moth to a flame. You have a personal magnetism that's like erotically charged, and you have a lot of sex appeal. And when you have a lover, you feel this huge like magnetic charge or voltage. You feel this intense attraction whenever you two are together. And you're usually very attracted to each other in general. Thus, this auntie, you are blessed to be able to be at ease with your body no matter what size you are. So small, medium, large, extra large, whatever, you're very comfortable in your body. And you have a real uncomplicated relationship with sexuality. You don't mind having one night stands. And if there's an attraction there, it is what it is. If you feel like you want to have a little rendezvous with that man, you will do so. You do not let your sexuality be inhibited. So the Aphrodite aunties represent the instinct to continue the species, because this archetype is associated with sex and passion. But you may often find that you are the other woman. You value the sexuality, but that goes against society. There's a stigma in society that a woman who enjoys her sexuality a little too much is labeled a hoe. Because we're all about fidelity and marriage. But in a relationship, you are an exceptional confidant spiritually, and men they feel comfortable being in your presence and basically doing a lot of pillow talk. They're not just attracted to you because you're very beautiful, because you have this great feminine wisdom that comes from the heart. So again, they don't mind doing a whole lot of pillow talk and tell you all the secrets. You, in your relationships, you have a gift that helps your man get in touch with his feelings and his creative projects and all of his potentialities. You like men who are executive, tycoons, politicians, pretty much like the Hera archetype. You like powerful men. If you haven't checked out the Hera video, go check that out. As you help him feel powerful, he gives you like status and security and take you places that you can be seen with your glamorous self. So that means like late night dinners, discreet weekends, and exotic trips. You may also not want to use birth control because it basically takes away from the moment. So you're in the moment, you don't want him to stop to put on a prophylactic. You may have had a lot of unwanted pregnancies or a baby due to your desire for a particular man. So your childhood. As a child, you may have been a little innocent little flirt. You like the center of attention, like wearing pretty clothes and dresses, and you fussed over yourself with the ribbons and different types of shoes and the matching outfit, and you played dress up a lot, and you probably wore, experimented with makeup. You wanted to be in your mom's makeup. And you weren't shy at all when it came to getting attention. You loved probably giving these little impromptu performances of singing or dancing. You were just like a little ham, and you had a lot of crushes, or boys liked you a lot, and you really liked a lot of sexy male singers. And the adults around you probably said, wow, wait until she grows up. She's going to be a real heartbreaker. Now, with your parents, if you grew up in a 2-parent household, your dad was probably very strict and intrusive and very controlling, basically cross-examining everything you did, who you brought into the house, the boys you wanted to date, your friends, basically giving you the third degree on every single thing you did. Where you going? Who you going with? Why are you going there? Who's this person? And your mom was probably the same, whether you grew up in a 2-family household or a single-parent household. She's probably very strict and controlling, overreacting. She wanted you to wear very toned-down clothes, basically dampening your attractiveness, and wanted you to constantly keep covered. She also questioned you about your friends, who's this girl, why she look like that, why is she wearing that, didn't want you to be around certain girls because they were considered fast in the ass. Basically, you probably felt like you were in jail when you were growing up, because your mom or dad or both, they probably spent so much time trying to make your attractiveness less seen instead of it being another aspect of who you are. So like if you were very intelligent or you were very athletic, in addition to being very attractive, your attractiveness was more of a focal point than anything else. It overshadowed anything else. So you were very conscious of how your attractiveness and your innate magnetism affected people around you. So what was your early adulthood probably like? As a high school girl, you had a desire for sex almost like a guy. You wanted to experiment. You wanted to, date a lot of boys and do a lot of things with these boys. And maybe you had a bad reputation, or you had a tarnished self-esteem or a negative self-image because you wanted to act on your urges. And, in our society, girls acting on their sexual primitive urges is not a good thing. But if you did it anyway, then, you probably had a lot of people, girlfriends and stuff. Well, not really girlfriends, but other girls looked down on you. Teachers probably thought bad about you. The neighbors probably thought bad about you. They probably talked about you behind your back. You were fast. You were a hoe. You couldn't keep your legs closed. So you probably experienced a lot of that in high school. And if you grew up in a really religious, like a church home, oh my goodness, the constraints to keep your attractiveness and all those feelings were unacceptable. Those sexual urges and you wanted to experiment were just flat out unacceptable. If you had a steady boyfriend, you guys probably had a lot of sex, and again, you probably either got pregnant or almost got pregnant, or you thought you were pregnant. You had a scare, and you did a lot of things behind your parents' back. So that means a lot of sneaking him in the house. You did a lot of things in back of cars, under the bleachers, in the concerts, in the bathrooms, in the basement, late at night, on the porch. So, you probably did a lot of sneaking around. In college, if you went to college, you most likely chose a party school, because your social aspects were more important than your academic long-term goals or career. So again, when you got away from your parents, you probably went buck wild. You probably almost flunked out of school because you were so busy drinking and partying and having all these boyfriends and going into fraternity parties and doing all kinds of things you didn't get an opportunity to do while you were in high school. Now, as far as work, as an Aphrodite auntie, you're probably not as emotionally attached to work, and you need work that really interests you in order to be emotionally attached to it. But if you have work that you're not emotionally attached to, you do it and then you just want to get away from it as soon as possible. You need variety. You don't like repetitious jobs like, being a homemaker or, working at the post office or a factory, something that you do the same thing over and over and over again. You need to be in creative work, dancing, art, drama, teacher, even a therapist. So you prefer something that's going to interest you as opposed to something that's going to pay you. The Aphrodite auntie in marriage, just like Hera, you strengthen marriage due to your sexuality and your passion and your support of your mate. You bring out the best of him and you're a great confidant. But being faithful might be a whole other aspect. You might have had problems or having problems being faithful in your marriage, and you've probably had affairs, secret affairs, and you may or may not feel guilty about it because that's who you are. You need variety. The only way that you could probably be really truly faithful if other auntie archetypes are present, like Artemis and Athena. And if you haven't checked out my Artemis and Athena videos, go check those out too. They'll give you a little bit more insight on how you can implement these two goddesses that can balance out some of that magnetism and sexual energy that you have, because Aphrodite is very much in her body and Artemis and Athena are very much in their heads. So these archetypes will help you think about the consequences. Just like in high school, you didn't think about the consequences of having unprotected sex. You probably didn't really think much about the consequences of cheating in your marriage or your husband. You probably didn't think about the consequences of sneaking a boy in your house and getting busted by your parents. So Artemis and Athena will pull you into your head and be like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Friends, girlfriends, in your women's group, you are probably very mistrusted by other women, especially the Hera archetype. Especially if you're less conscious of your innate sexual prowess and magnetism around men. So you might have these married girlfriends, or you go out with your girlfriends and their men, and then you're so sexually magnetic that these men are attracted to you. They're not overtly attracted to you, but their partners can tell that you have drawn them in, and that makes them uncomfortable, especially the Hera archetype. You probably make other women very angry at you, and you probably don't even know why these women are angry at you, because they're angry at you because the way their men responded, or the way men respond to you when you're together with your girlfriends. But you don't really have any ill will towards these women, because you're not like the jealous or possessive type. But you also have a wide circle of friends who actually enjoy your company and enjoy your attractiveness because they can live vicariously through you. But you're good for brushing off your friends. Like, oh, okay, well, we're going to go on a girls trip, or we're going to hang out on the weekend. Then, something comes along, a man comes along. Oh, I'm going to go on this date. So you easily brush your girlfriends off. And again, you don't think about how it affects them. So how is the Aphrodite auntie with kids? The Aphrodite auntie likes kids, and they pretty much like her. You can draw out the specialness and the confidence in kids and have an enthusiasm for whatever interest that they have. And children probably see you as beautiful and glamorous. But you, again, one minute you're there with them and the next minute you're not. So as you approach middle age, this gives, being middle age gives the Aphrodite auntie a real dose of reality, because your looks are starting to wane, and your looks are your source of your gratification. Like your point, shifts from your point of interest should shift from your looks to the people around you in your relationships. Because prior they was, your focus wasn't. It was on your beauty. But since your beauty is probably fading now, maybe you can cultivate better relationships around you. You may be unhappy with your partner. You might be with an unconventional or sometimes unstable man, or you might actually want to settle down now. But if you are engaged, with something, you throw yourself into it now. You don't let your focus be taken off of what you like to do, especially if it's something creative. Now, as we approach our later years, the Aphrodite auntie, you will tend to grow old with grace. You will grow old with grace, and you will be in love with whomever you focus on. You'll stay young at heart. You'll remain involved with creativity, and you'll probably always look forward to what comes next with your remaining years. So now let's talk about the psychological difficulties, which I've already probably mentioned a bunch. I did mention a bunch. Aphrodite auntie is a hard archetype to have when you follow your instinctive sexuality, because like I said, society doesn't really see that as a good thing. So that's one psychological difficulty. Psychological difficulty number 2 is denying yourself. So if you grew up in a repressive household where you had to stifle your attractiveness and your sexual feelings you had, you probably have a lot of guilt and conflicted feelings over expressing your natural feelings. Or you lost touch with that part of yourself. Since you had to stifle that part of yourself for so long, you pushed it so far in the back of your mind, you lost touch with yourself. In doing so, you lost some of your vitality and your spontaneity. That was number 2. Number 3, living in the present and basically realizing that there are consequences to your actions, and realizing that you have to learn how to be loyal to the people in your life, your relationship, your children, your friends, and don't blow them off and realize there are consequences to your actions, whether it's unprotected sex or having affairs, or you have to stop responding so impulsively and behave more responsibly. Next is you have to get rid of that love them and leave them attitude. You've probably had a lot of casual affairs. You fall in love easy, and each and every time you're convinced you have found the one. You were in the moment only to drop and replace them with something shiny and new. So another man cancels your fancy, the old one is out, without any thought of what your decision has done to him and how you left him wounded and depressed and angry and used and tossed aside. So you have to learn how to love people, farts and all, and accept human flaws, and also accept the flaws in yourself. So how does the Aphrodite auntie grow? know that your nature is to experience erotic attraction and have strong sexual desires, and it's okay. This helps you to honor yourself and to look out for your best interests. And to implement this auntie archetype, you have to learn to modify your power when you need to. So again, check out Hera, Artemis, and Athena archetypes in my auntie archetype playlist. That'll help you with that. So again, Artemis and Athena can help you grow if you're thinking about education. Hera could help you move forward with being a loyal mate. And Persephone, which we haven't gotten to yet, she's very introverted. She can help you like stay a little bit more in yourself, as far as not always having to act out your sexual fantasies physically. You can act them out mentally. So some of the famous Aphrodite aunties are, of course, Beyonce, Madonna, Shakira, and there's another one I can't think, but I'll throw her picture up if I remember it. So tell me down below, what do you think? Do you think that as an Aphrodite auntie, you are fully into this archetype? You express yourself, or are you more repressed and are you looking to get your power and become more conscious of your power? So thank you for coming with me on this journey about the Aphrodite auntie. And please remember to rate, give me a thumbs up, tell a friend. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. And until next time.